So I am born in Long Island, the fourth of 5 kids, which essentially means into chaos. There are about 4 or 5 hands grabbing for the last drumstick, everybody talking over everybody else, nobody listening. And the head of our household is my Jewish mother, who is what I'd call a benevolent tyrant. She loves us like crazy, but I make sure I don't try not to do anything to really get her angry because she's also a New York City public school teacher. So you don't want to mess with her. Well, anyway, so I kind of grow up kind of standing off to the side and trying not to draw too much attention to myself, being kind of a chameleon. And by the time I go away to college at 19, I'm a bit of a blank slate. And when I get to school, the outfit that I'm wearing kind of shows this blank slate. I am wearing a hot pink Gloria Vanderbilt sweater, matching Gloria Vanderbilt corduroy jeans. I'm like a giant bottle of Pepto-Bismol. And pink probably isn't me, but honestly, at this stage of my life, I don't know who me is. And one of the first people I meet at school is Liz. And Liz is this tough Irish chick from Brooklyn, and she is funny as hell, she is smart as hell. She has confidence and opinions on music and fashion and life, and that's what I want to be. And for some reason, she decides that I am worthy to be her friend, and we quickly become like the best of friends. And on one of our first vacations home from school, she invites me to spend the weekend with her in Brooklyn. And it's the first time I'm like in the city without my parents, and we go to Brooklyn, and we go to the city one night to go out, and I borrow some of her clothes because I still don't know how to dress. And we have a great time, but we're riding the subway home. It's like 2 or 3 in the morning, and as we're getting deeper into Brooklyn, this subway is getting emptier until finally it's just me and Liz on the train. And then the doors open, and these two guys get on in their 20s, kind of scary-looking guys, and all I'm thinking is, please don't come anywhere near us, don't talk to us. But out of the corner of my eye, I see they're heading straight for us. And one sits down next to me, and the other one sits next to Liz, and I'm like, oh shit, what do we do? But I'm not going to say anything. I'm like this little Long Island kid. She's the city kid. I'm going to leave it up to her. And meanwhile, the two of us are like 5'2" and 110 pounds soaking wet, but I'm like, I'm going to leave it to her. And so I hear her say, why don't you leave us the fuck alone? And I'm like, whoa, that may not be my first initial approach, you know? But like, she knows what she's doing. I have faith that she knows what she's doing, so I say nothing. And then a minute later, the guy next to her puts his hand in his jacket pocket, and I hear Liz say, if you think we think you have a gun, we know you don't. And I'm like, oh my God, she just said gun. Like, why did she say gun? And the guy next to me nudges me, goes, you're really nice, but I don't like your friend. You know? It's like, I haven't said a word, you know? And then it's our stop, and we're about to get off, and I'm so scared they're gonna follow us off and beat us up or worse, and we're getting off the train, and the guy next to Liz, he just kicks her off the train. But then the doors close and the train leaves and we're safe. And I'm like hyperventilating, and I turn to Liz and I'm like, oh my God, we could have been killed. And Liz, man, she is cool as cool can be. She's like, oh, they were just messing with us. They were never gonna do anything. And I'm like completely traumatized. But I'm also in awe of this, you know, this new friend of mine. But anyway, the next day I have to go back to Long Island by myself on the train, right, after all this. So I'm on the train, it's a Sunday morning, and the PTSD from the night before is just starting to kick in when this guy walks over to me, and he leans down and he goes, hey, didn't I see you at Studio 54 last week? And I'm like, wow, that's a really lame pickup line, but I'm just not in any mood, so I barely look up, and I just say, no. And he walks away. And then a minute later, he walks back. And he says, oh yeah, couldn't have been you. The other girl was a lot thinner. And I'm like, really? That's the worst you can do? And on any other day, I would let the insult slide. I do not get into confrontation, certainly not with strangers on the train after what happened. But because of what happened the night before, I feel something rising up inside of me, and I am just not having it. And I look him dead in the eye, and I say, leave me the fuck alone. And he turns away, but then he turns back and he bends down and he spits right in my face. And now I am enraged, and I start screaming every curse I can think of, English, Spanish, Yiddish, anything. And I'm making this huge scene on the train, and the woman next to me is like, calm down, calm down. She gives me a tissue, he's not worth it. But I am not calming down, and he gets off at the next stop, and he's motioning me to come off and fight him. And I'm like, I don't think so, buddy, not today, And it takes me the longest time to calm down, but I do, and I get home, and it was a really shitty weekend for me on the subways of New York. But for the first time in my life, I kind of found my voice, and I found that I liked that. And then a few years later, I graduate from college, and in this photo of me from college, my hair, it's curly and wild and free, and I'm wearing this androgynous kind of Annie Hall outfit, black and white, that I picked out for myself at Salvation Army. Not a hint of pink in sight.